What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Shout out to everybody who is here so far in the chat. Welcome to the stream. You know what time it is. It is currently Friday, November 20th, 2020. When y'all come in, please make sure that y'all go ahead and hit that like button, share the stream, and we'll get started shortly. First off, I don't know what's going on with my webcam. Like, something had happened with the monitor, and I had to restart my computer right before during this stream. And when I cut it back on and opened up Streamlabs, my webcam is plugged in, it's on, but the webcam's not showing up on the screen. So I'm just gonna have to do this without showing my face today. But it is what it is. Y'all are used to it by now. It's just that I like to show my appearance on Fridays. You know, let y'all see me at least once a week. But let's see, who do we have here so far in the chat? What's going on? Darlene, Ashton, Robert, Isaiah, Jamal, Robbie, Gamer G, some chick named Star, Donna C, Stephanie, JN, I'm guessing that's JNet, DNJ30, Vincent, JK, AK Sour God, K-Ba, Tina. What's going on? I'm gonna go ahead and share this onto my Twitter account and let the people over there know that we are live, just in case they are unaware. We have quite a few things we're gonna talk about today. Not a lot. I didn't really plan on having like a bunch of topics to talk about this week. I actually did more pre-recorded videos for this week rather than topics for me for this live stream. But you know, it is what it is. Especially after last week. You know, last week I had Town Biz on my channel. We went on for like 2 hours. And that's usually longer than what I usually do. But when I have guests, I like to keep the streams a little bit lengthier. Only thing I hate about Streamlabs is that the comments come through in the comment section, in the chat box that y'all see on the screen on the left corner of the screen. They come up a little bit later. It's like a delay, opposed to on YouTube it's in real time, so I can actually see the comments coming in at real time. So I have to go back and forth between my phone and the screen. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Aaliyah, Jamal, Sonia, Edna, Tawana, Pinky, JYB, Joseph Washington, Brother Mark 1992, Michelle's daughter, super user, Alana, Chris, what's going on? Salute to everybody so far in the chat. Yes, Ashton, I saw your tweet. You tweeted me on Twitter saying that this upcoming season of Black Lightning will be its final season. I kind of saw it coming, honestly. I kind of saw it coming. And like I told you on Twitter, they're going to have to go all the way out with this last season. Like, they're not coming back, so don't hold back. Go in. And then the Painkiller character, I found out he's getting his own show, his own spinoff show. Which most likely is going to come on after Black Lightning goes off the air. And speaking of Twitter, to those of y'all who have a Twitter account, y'all saw what Twitter did this week, their new feature. They have their own story feature. They call it Fleet. So now you have Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter who have a story feature, but we know that Snapchat is the one that pretty much kicked off the whole story, the 15-second video clip thing. I can't remember the last time I even used my Snapchat. It's been a while. Let's see who else we have in here. What's going on? Jordan Black, Gamer G, the only GS. I'm sorry, JS. I'm sorry. Tina Ferguson, PD Chicago B1. Oh yeah, I forgot. YouTube does have the story feature as well, but I don't have it though. I don't have it. Like I should have had it, but I don't have it on my on the app side. But I've seen people who do have the story feature on the on their app. If you have a YouTube account, well, if you are a content creator, let me put it that way. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Janesta, Dewani, Tamisha, Jerome, what's going on? Peak Brow Teak Shannon. She's a hello from Virginia Beach. Well, salute to you and shout out to Virginia Beach. It's been years since I've been to Virginia Beach though. Okay, I didn't even realize it was 4:10. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. People are still coming on in, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this stream. But before I get into the topics, let me address that it's been a lot of tragedies that have been occurring this week. Like a lot of deaths or people being sick and all types of stuff. I don't know what's going on in Texas with these rappers getting shot and injured, or getting shot and killed. But something weird is going on down in Texas. I don't know what it is. Within the last week, we heard about maybe 4 or 5 of them getting shot, and a couple of them died. So I don't know what's going on down in Texas. If any of my people down in Texas want to let me know if you have any information, please, like, say something. I don't know what the hell is going on down there. But also, I want to send my condolences out to Bobby Brown. In case y'all have not heard, his son, Bobby Brown Jr., he passed away this week. I think it was a couple days ago. He was only 28, and that's scary because first he lost his daughter, then he lost his son, and both of them were named after him. That's sad, and both were in their 20s. Neither one of them reached 30. She didn't even reach 25, I don't think. And he didn't make it to 30. Also, I wanted to send condolences out to the family of this little boy. Let me see if I can pull his name up. His name was Ben Watkins. I didn't know much about this boy other than what I read about him. He was a contestant on not MasterChef. What was the name of that show with Gordon Ramsay? I think it was called MasterChef Junior. I think that's what it was. I think it was MasterChef Junior. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. He was a contestant on that show, and he recently passed away from cancer, and he was only 14. Thank you. I knew it had to be MasterChef Junior. I wasn't sure what the actual official title of it was. Yeah, he passed away at the age of 14 from cancer. It's crazy. He didn't even get to live a full life. And when I was reading his story, he had a pretty rough background. Like, he had a pretty rough upbringing at such a very young age. I'm not sure what Bobby Brown Jr. died of, because I don't think they released an autopsy just yet. So I don't know what he died of, but I'm sure they're going to be releasing that that very soon. But yeah, it's unfortunate. He probably had a whole life ahead of him. Also, I want to send well wishes out to Sinbad. In case y'all did not hear, Sinbad, he recently suffered a stroke. I don't know how severe. the stroke was. I don't know if it was a minor stroke or a major one, but they said he did suffer a stroke and now he is currently in recovery, but I think he's still in the hospital. And also the last one that I wanted to talk about was Michael J. Fox. If y'all of a certain age, y'all know who Michael J. Fox is. He played Marty McFly on Back to the Future. He was also on this show called Family Ties. And then he had a show in the 90s called Spin City. And if y'all didn't know, he has been a long-term sufferer, or I don't want to say sufferer, but long-term Parkinson's patient, I should say. And at one point he had to retire from acting because of his condition. And then he stepped back into a little bit, the acting realm, but then it just came out recently that he had to go back into retirement because now his health is declining even more due to Parkinson's. As you know, Muhammad Ali, that's what he had, and that's what he ended up dying from. Thank you, PD Chicago. Thank you for saying battling. That sounds so much better. Cause suffer, that didn't sound right. So I didn't like how that came out. So battling, that sounds much better to me. Yeah, but again, shout out to everybody who is here in the chat. Like I said, we're just getting started, so don't come in asking, am I late? Am I late? You're not late. I'm just getting these topics out of the way before I go into the other topics that I'm going to discuss. With that being said, let's go ahead and actually officially now get into these topics. First person I'm going to discuss yet again is the poster child for Karenisms and Beckyisms. We're going to say Amberisms for this one, and that's Amber Heard. I'm not sure which of my subscribers. Oh, I'm glad you said. I'm glad you threw that in there, Isaiah, because I forgot about him. The singer Jeremiah. He currently is now battling the virus. He caught the woo woo, and they said that he's in bad shape right now. At least that's what they say. I remember when he came out, back when I was in college, R&B singer. But yeah, I forgot. I'm glad you said that, Isaiah. I completely forgot about him. But yeah, they said he contracted the virus, and he's not in the best shape right now. But they're doing as much as they can for him. And he's another young individual, because I don't think he's that much older than me. But back to this chick here. But I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure which of my subscribers has sent me this, because I was like, should I make this a pre-recorded video or talk about it on the live stream? I said I'll talk about it on the live stream. So basically, if I can remember, because I can't even find the email, because I cleaned out my email recently. She's basically trying to put herself into the victim role again, trying to make it to try to have people be on her side and try to see things her way. And when I was in the midst of looking up to see if I could find the exact article surrounding her, what's going on, Lakers fan 87, I came across a series of other articles involving her, and it looks to me like her career or time in Hollywood is not really slowing down anytime soon. Because when I typed her name in, these were the headlines that I saw. Amber Heard reportedly had talks for Sue Storm role in Fantastic Four reboot. Hopefully that means that they're talking about in the past before this even happened, because I'm telling you right now, they throw her up in there as Sue Storm, I won't be watching Fantastic Four. As much as I really want to, see that come over to the MCU, If she's in it, I will not watch it. Thanks, Alani. I think I kind of thought it had to be you that sent me that story, but like I said, I cleaned out my email, so I probably missed and deleted it. And I'm telling you right now, as much as my email has been backed up, it feels refreshing to see a somewhat clean inbox. Another one says Aquaman 2 needs to be delayed, but not because of Amber Heard. Another one says WB reportedly thinks Amber Heard petitions are artificially inflated, most likely. Amber Heard reportedly returning for Drive Angry sequel with Nicolas Cage. Why are they still trying to give this chick opportunities? And make sure if y'all have not done so already to smash that like button. It tells the algorithm to share this video and to spread it amongst the platform so others can see it. But yeah, it's almost like they keep trying to throw this chick a bone. Meanwhile, Johnny Depp, who in my opinion is the true victim, his career is hanging on by a thread, if you can even call it that. What's going on, Maximus Royalty? Ghost Tiger says cast the bitches Dr. Carla Sofin. She don't need to be casting nothing. When I read the stuff that she did, or heard about the stuff that she did, I said this heifer is trifling. She is trifling. And based on stories I've heard about her from other relationships she's been in, because in case y'all didn't know, Amber Heard used to be in a relationship with a woman. So she plays both sides of the fence. She bats for both teams, as far as I know. But it's just unfortunate that a person like her could bring down somebody who, for one, their career has been around way longer than we even knew who the hell she was. A person that really wasn't in much scandals. And it's crazy. The biggest scandals that Johnny Depp can be in is all because of this chick. And not because of what he did to her. It's because of what she did to him. And as far as I'm concerned, it's still doing. She's the succubus defined. If y'all want to know what toxic femininity looks like, look no further than Amber Heard. Seriously. But they keep, some of y'all was saying in the chat, they keep caping for her. All the time. All she got to do is throw on the crocodile tears, throw on the little baby voice, whine a little bit, and then they feel sorry for her. I don't feel bad for the bitch. I don't. But she's gonna get hers eventually. But like I said, if she is attached to Aquaman 2, I don't care how good the movie may be, because it's probably going to be dope, because the first one was very good. I will not watch it. I will not watch anything that has her name attached to it. Thank God there is a strong possibility that she would never be in Black Panther 2. Rhoda Lloyd says, didn't Winona Ryder and another one speak up for Johnny Depp? I think so. Like, everybody who's spoken on Johnny Depp's behalf had pretty much defended him and basically said Johnny Depp is not that type of person that Amber Heard has made him out to be. That's why I said, who in the world did Johnny Depp piss off? What person in the J community did he piss off for this to happen? I mean, he lost 2 major gigs. He lost the Pirates of the Caribbean, which was one of his biggest roles ever, because it was like the first franchise role he's ever had. And he lost that Fantastic Beasts gig, which was another franchise that he was attached to. The only difference is with the Fantastic Beasts, they actually paid him They paid him his salary of 8 figures. So they paid him millions of dollars for him to leave. Now I don't know if he got some kind of a pay for Pirates of the Caribbean. But the people over at Warner Brothers, the one who makes Aquaman 2 or Aquaman, and it's interesting too because Aquaman and Fantastic Beasts are both under the same studio, which is Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers, now people are going to be looking at you with the side eye. So you mean to tell me that you are going to keep her, but you're going to drop him? Even though so much has come out about her, we've heard audio, we've gotten confessions, all types of stuff. But you keep her. Warner Brothers better tread lightly because you don't want people to boycott your entire studio. Meaning they wouldn't see anything in your catalog even if she's not in it. Yeah, for those of you who are asking, yes, Johnny Depp lost his Pirates of the Caribbean role as Captain Jack Sparrow, the lead, the main character, a role he's been playing since, shoot, how long has that franchise been around? That franchise has been around since I was like in high school. So you're talking about a role he's been playing for almost 2 decades. Alana said if he got paid off for Fantastic Beasts, I think J.K. Rowling played a part. She did support him. Well, that's dope of her if that's what the case was, because you know they already don't like her, and y'all already know who they is. Ghost Tiger since 2004. Okay, bet since I was in high school. I was 15 in 2004, so I was a sophomore in high school. Since he's been playing that role. But let me move on from this chick because she gets on my nerves. And when her time is up, the violins will be played. Next, I want to talk about the Not So Proud Boys and all of their shenanigans and everything like that. It just seems like this group just keeps on getting worse and worse by the day. I mean, first you had, one of the things I talked about on my channel is them being infiltrated by the academy and trying to change the trajectory of their sphere, if you want to call it that. Then they keep trying to recruit a bunch of black people to try to make themselves not appear to be racist. Now, finally, after I don't know how many months that it seems like it was pulling teeth, they finally admitted that they are a Dub S group. I'm like, y'all didn't have to do that. We saw what your leader or your former leader, Gavin McInnes, was all about. So we already knew who y'all was on. Yes, this is that Enrique. His name is Tariq. I forgot this guy's name. Let's see if I can look it up. What is his name? Terrio. Enrique Terrio. That's his name. The one that you see right here, front and center, with the black hat on and the black gear. Yeah. But yeah, it's like every time I pull an article up about the Proud Boys, it's never good. And why would it be? But the thing is, they keep trying to brand them as this group that they don't want us to think that they are, but a group that we do know who they really are, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. This is another group that needs to go away because I'm tired of seeing them too. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them. Let me move on to the next one. Now, this story right here was very interesting, and I have to give a shout out to Nicole's View because I found out about this through her. I actually meant to talk about this a couple weeks ago. I would have talked about it last week, but I had Town Biz on my channel for that collab, and I didn't talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it today. So apparently, debt collectors will now be able to contact you on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We listen, if you have something that needs to be paid, we gonna find a way to get to you. You may not have an email. Your phone may be off, but we gonna find you on social media because we know you got that. Let's see what they gonna talk about. It says a new rule finalized today by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau will let debt collectors contact consumers not just by phone as presently permitted, but also by email, text message, and even using platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Once the new rule takes effect a year from today, and by the way, the article was written on October 30th, so they're talking about October 30th, 2021. Collection agencies will also be allowed to contact consumers more frequently. They'll be able to place up to 7 debt collection phone calls per week, and under some circumstances even more, as well as send an unlimited number of text and email messages and social media private posts. The CFPB noted in its announcement today that consumers can opt out of all electronic communications with debt collectors. How exactly they'll be able to do that, though, hasn't been worked out yet. The rule clarifies how debt collectors can use email, text messages, social media, and other contemporary methods to communicate with consumers. The Bureau's director, Kathleen L. Kraninger, wrote in a post also released today, and our rule will allow consumers, if they prefer, to limit the ability of debt collectors to communicate with them through these new communication methods. A spokesperson for Facebook, which owns Instagram, says, "We are in the process of reviewing this new rule and will work with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau over the coming months to understand its effect on people who use our services." Twitter didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. What do y'all think about that? Oh, let me continue because it has something in here about us. It says today's changes are expected to hit Black and Hispanic communities especially hard, says Antonio Correjo, Policy Counsel and Advocate for Financial Services at Consumer Reports. It's no secret that debt collection is more prevalent among communities of color, he says. That also applies to collection lawsuits, judgments, and wage garnishments. See? Kept reading a little bit more, and they had something in there about us when it came to debt collection. In fact, 45% of people who live in predominantly Black or Hispanic areas had debt and collections, compared with 27% of those who lived in predominantly white areas. That's according to public comments made last year by the Center for Responsible Lending, along with the NAACP and other groups. In addition, a 2017 CFPB survey found that 44% of borrowers of color reported having been contacted about a debt versus 29% of white respondents. So that basically says to me that they reach out or contact Black people and other non-white individuals more than they do white people. That just sounds, how can I say, very stereotypical. Oh, this is a very important part. I'm just kind of skimming through the article. Another problem with the new rule, consumer advocates say, is that it doesn't require debt collectors to verify that debt is actually owed by a consumer or is still legally valid before contacting him or her. So that means that they just can reach out to you and say, look, I'm a debt collector. I work for this and that agency, and we're here to collect. And you better pay up. I can see just on that statement alone, it's going to be a lot of scams and a lot of con artists that are going to come out the woodwork with this. I see it happening just on that statement alone. It says debt collectors are notorious for hounding consumers and filing lawsuits about debts that have already been paid off or were never owed in the first place, said Suzanne Martindale, who works on financial issues for CR. The CFPB's new rule does nothing about this egregious practice and fails to ensure that debt collectors can prove that money is actually owed and they have the legal right to pursue the debt. What's going on to everybody who just came into the chat? Make sure, if you haven't done so already, to like the stream and as well as share the stream. Are y'all hearing this? So now we're getting into the meat of this whole thing right here. And this is exactly headed in the direction that I knew it was going to go into. It says what to do if a debt collector contacts you, requests verification of the debt, don't immediately offer to pay owed debts, keep your personal information private, get a copy of your credit report, negotiate a lower repayment amount, set up an automated payments and a realistic payment plan. Sounds feasible, but at the same time, that just sounds like some like they trying to get over. That's why when you know how you have like those weird numbers be calling your phone, I don't answer them numbers. If I don't have the number saved in my phone, I don't answer it. And a lot of times what they'll do is, to be slick, they'll call you from an area code that matches yours. To say, oh, I'm calling from this area code, so I know they'll answer. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. When they call like that, I don't answer. And sometimes my phone can pick it up and will determine that it's like a spam call, because that's basically what it is. And it'll hang up for me before I even get a chance to look and see who called. But yeah, keep that in mind. They said they're going to start rolling this out now less than a year from now, because now it's past the date since this article has been posted. All right, let's move on to this next topic, and that is the topic of the woo-woo. So, I got a question for everybody in the chat. Are y'all ready for the next lockdown? I told y'all it was coming. I called this back in sometime over the summer. I said, I have a feeling that they will be going into another lockdown, and it's going to happen when it gets cold. Because some places have already begun. I think Chicago, they're under a stay-at-home order. I know in Maryland, Larry Hogan has pretty much now put us under a curfew, so all businesses have to be closed by 10 o'clock. But I don't think that, should this lockdown happen, it's not going to be as long as the one that happened earlier this year. I think they said this one is going to be like maybe a little over a month. Like they said 3 to 6 weeks. It's not going to be like it was earlier this year, where it began in like mid-March and ran all the way until early June. I see some people saying that they're excited or they're ready for the next lockdown. Cause trust me, it was some pros to the first one. You know how much stuff got done that you couldn't do because your life was constantly on the run and you couldn't get anything done. Some people picked up new hobbies. Some people started businesses. Some people actually found a way to make more money. But then you had the idiots, like the ones in Michigan, who couldn't keep their ass still for just a couple of minutes, who was like, I don't want to stay home. I don't want to wear a mask. You know, the big babies. I'm like, truth be told, I envy New Zealand. Because it's like we could have definitely been in their position if we had some responsible people who actually took this seriously. Tatiana, you said everything is closing in VA at 8 p.m. starting Monday. Sheesh. V. Michelle, that the pros was a stranger, stayed the hell away from you. Unless they were Karens. Oh, this thing was this woo-woo. This was the rise of the Karen. I watched a couple of Karen compilation videos today. Them heifers is off the chain. When we look back at 2020, besides the woo-woo, them Karens are up there as far as top 5 issues of 2020. Rhoda said you exercise more. So, but yeah, looks like we probably gonna go into another lockdown. The last I heard, and whether the numbers are inflated or not, they said that the death toll has reached 250,000. What's going on, Dark Void? They said the death toll, whether the numbers are inflated or not, have reached 250,000 in just the U.S. Not in America, including Canada and Mexico, but just the U.S. alone. That's crazy. And it's crazy because the U.S. wasn't even, like I said before, wasn't even the first place touched by this virus. We were like the 4th or 5th location. But like I said, if it's anything that this virus has done, it has exposed that the vast majority of Americans are entitled, that they are arrogant, ignorant, and just I don't know if I can come up with any other words, but it's within that realm right there. He said, I wonder how many of those 250,000 people were racist. It was probably a few, but guess what? A virus doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care if you are a virtuous person. It doesn't care if you are a mean person or a nasty person. It doesn't matter if you are a killer, if you are a rapist, if you are a child of God, if you are a millionaire, a billionaire, a bum on the street. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter your sexual orientation. None of that. This thing does not discriminate. And if it wants to touch you, it will do just that. Andrew Reed said it also exposed a lot of them that don't wash their behind. Well, truth be told, many of us already knew that before the virus. Remember that video I just did about Serena Williams' husband, who said he just now had to learn what a washcloth was from his wife, and he's like 37. Not how to use a washcloth, but what a washcloth is. But trust and believe. I'm not trusting that vaccine. Why would I take something for something that just became prevalent this year? I don't trust that. Like I watched a video, I don't know who it was. Where you had this she was a black doctor or something like that, or a nurse. I forgot what. I think she's in the medical field though. And she was saying how she took one of the trial tests for the virus, and it was 2 of them. And she said the first one she took, it was okay, but when she took that second one, she said that's when she started feeling all kinds of weird side effects. And the reason that she had to take it is because something happened with her dad. Her dad had some kind of pre-existing condition, and he had went to the hospital or something, and then he ended up catching it. And then later, a couple weeks later, he had died. So no, I do not trust that vaccine, and they keep trying to get black people to be the guinea pig or the lab rat for that. I said historically, when you look back at it and all these trials and tests that they put on black people back in the day, that's why you have so many black people not doing it. And yes, the shadow assassin, yes, it was Seiji Hito that talked about it. I couldn't remember who it was, but yes, it was him who talked about it. And shout out to him, by the way. But it's a historical context around why black people don't want to take that test or that vaccine. Not saying that we would not take it much later in the future when we can see that it actually works. But who would be crazy enough to take something so prematurely? And then when you keep trying to ask us about it, it looks real shaky. It looks real shady. You got to side eye it. So no, I do not trust that vaccine. Hell, they've had the flu vaccine out for just as long, and I can't remember the last time I took that. That flu vaccine, I remember I got my physical done like in late October, and the doctor had to chuckle a little bit while asking me that question, did I want to take the flu vaccine? And I just kind of looked at her, and I was with one of those faces like, nah. And she just said, okay. She said, it's your choice. She says, we're not going to pressure you. You do have the choice to take the test or the vaccine or not. I have not taken the flu vaccine in God knows how long. And I have not had the flu or any flu-like symptoms in I don't know how long. It's been years since I've had the flu, and I have not taken that flu vaccine. And the flu's been around longer. See, I think what they want to do when it comes to the woo-woo is what they're doing was what happened with the flu. We know the flu, when that first happened, it spiraled out of control. It wasn't containable. What they want is to contain this virus to a seasonal thing, like they do with the flu. Like, yeah, flu season. We're currently right now pretty much in flu season. And the flu season only lasts for a few months. It is usually the cold months. I think they want to contain this thing to a season, because let's be real here. This thing is out into the world. It's out in the atmosphere. It's not going anywhere. But they want to contain it. And it's going to take a while because it's new. And it did not just happen in one nation and get stuck in one nation. It happened in one nation and spread across the globe. Some places got affected more than others. But don't be surprised if they try some funny business. Don't be surprised if they don't try to say, look, you got to take this vaccine or this is and that's going to happen. But like y'all are saying in the chat, just make sure your immune system is clean, that y'all are eating healthy, that you're exercising, that you're drinking water. What's going on, Caressa? You just got to take care of your body. If it's anything that you can learn from this, is to take care of your body, your immune system. Because some people out here, immune systems are so weak, they will get a cold just off of sneezing one time. If you sneeze and you get a cold that easily, your immune system is weak. I can sneeze 10 times throughout the week and not get a cold. That's because I watch what I eat and I exercise. But let me go on to the next topic. I didn't expect to spend that much time on this one, but here we are. Okay. This is hilarious. Oh, this is funny. This is so funny to me. So, last Saturday, they had something called the Million MAGA March. I said when I found out about this, I'm not going to talk about this in a pre-recorded video. We're going to discuss this in the live stream. This was quite hilarious, but also very eye-opening at the same time. So, Sonya, you said I'm not doing no damn calendar. So, they had something called the Million MAGA March in DC this past weekend. And when I found out that's what they called it, because I was on Twitter and I looked into the trending topics and that thing said Million MAGA March. I said, I just hung my head low and shook my head. Shook my invisible locks. And was like, are they for real right now? I'm like, y'all have no originality. None. You actually named your so-called march, rally, whatever you want to call it, Million MAGA March. Appreciate you, Lisa, for the super chat. You actually called your event Million MAGA March, which, by the way, is not an original name. Because we're not going to sit here and act like the Million Man March did not happen back in 1995. We're not going to act like that didn't happen. Second of all, y'all named your march after an event that was put together by Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. A man who many of you over the years have grown to dislike and have total and utter disdain toward. And this is what you call it. But this doesn't surprise me, because when they came up with the term Black Lives Matter, although I really don't like the organization because of what they stand for, you have to admit that you had palm-colored people come out and say all lives matter. And then you had the police come out and say blue lives matter. But these are the same people that will say Black Lives Matter are terrorists, or BLM is attached to Antifa. But you bit off of them, but just threw a different name on it in front and put Lives Matter after it. It's a weird paradigm. Appreciate you, see Truth the Revelator. Yeah, they love to spout that high IQ mess. And from what I heard, oh, exactly. I'm glad you said that, Isaiah. They love to call Farrakhan anti-Semitic when they be some of the main ones that should listen. What's the name of that group? The ADL. They should have a whole list of PC people on that roster. Because I can't remember the last time I saw or heard of a black person wanting to go bomb a synagogue or burn it. And from what I heard, it wasn't even nearly 1 million people out there. I think they said it was like 5,000 at best. That's less than 45 had at his inauguration back in 2017. Now, what's also interesting is when you have black people out here protesting on behalf of black people being killed or shot unjustly by these terrorists who are disguised as cops, you'll have the same group of people right here who is saying they need to go home, they need to get a job, they need to stop doing this, they need to start doing that, stop resisting, and this wouldn't happen to you. But they're out here protesting election results. And calling it Million MAGA March. It's amazing. It's weird, but it's amazing at the same time. I mean, the hypocrisy is very glaring. And then I noticed they kept showing this video. They kept showing this video of this white chick who I guess got hit with something or something like that. My thing is this. Why would y'all go down there? Because let's be real here. A lot of the times they go down there with the intent to antagonize people. A lot of the times they will go down there to antagonize people, and then when something happens to them, they cry foul. I'm going to tell you like this. If this was the DC of 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, it's no way in hell all of them would have been able to get away with doing this. Why? Because that was before DC became heavily gentrified. When DC was considered to be Chocolate City, and it was mainly black people living there, they would have never done something like this. I'll tell you this though, I know where they won't cross into, whether gentrified or not. They ain't gonna get on that green line and hop their asses all the way over to Anacostia. They gonna get right off at Navy Yard, right where the baseball stadium is, as well as the soccer stadium. Appreciate you, Kevin, or Wedderburn. They would not cross into Anacostia. Those of you who are familiar with the area know they ain't going into Anacostia, especially after a certain time. And trust and believe, as somebody who used to have to take the train when I used to work at the airport, and when I would get off at the time I did, and I would have to take the train home, crossing into Anacostia, into a certain part of Anacostia, you wouldn't want to be caught out there after a certain time, especially if you weren't familiar. They would have to confine themselves to Northwest, all the way over there in like Georgetown and everywhere. Georgetown at one time was like the only white predominantly area in DC at one time. But now that gentrification has happened, now it's it's really, really, really diverse now. And see what they'll do. And that's why many people are saying, I wish black people wouldn't go out there, because we already know what's going to happen. And I agree. Black people, don't go out there. Now, if they try to bring the fight to your doorstep, then you have every right to defend your castle. Oh, most definitely, Stephanie. Southeast back in the day. Hell, shoot, it's still some parts of Southeast today that you don't mess with. But back in the day, Southeast was crazy. You know how they like to talk about Chicago all the time? Today, that's what they used to do with Southeast back then. And I didn't even live in Southeast. But I knew people who did. I knew people who were from Southeast. I had family members who used to live in Southeast. I've been to Southeast. Hell, I'm so close to Southeast, I could walk there. I won't do it, but I could. That's why I told people I was on neither side of the spectrum when it came to this whole thing. I'm very centered, I'm very neutral. So if something happens with the people on the right, I'm going to talk about it, might get a good laugh out of it. Like I'm getting a good laugh out of this because this is pathetic. If something happens with the people on the left, I'm going to laugh about it and, go about my day. Alana, you said Anacostia seems nice. If you say so. All y'all got to do is this. If y'all ever come to the DMV area, just take a ride on the Green Line train from Branch Avenue, which is the end of the Green Line, and go all the way to Greenbelt, which is in Maryland, and you can see the difference from Branch Avenue to Greenbelt, and you will see the difference in between the lines. And when you get to the DC stops, which is Congress Heights, Anacostia, and I think it's another one in there too, but those, it's like 3 of them right there, and you will see what I mean. But yeah, they gonna be doing this for a while. These MAGA hat wearers, they gonna be doing this for a while. Who was that said they was hoping for a tornado to go through there? Don't send a tornado in this area. I'm here. Oh yeah, Benning Road. That's another one. I knew somebody who I worked with who used to get off at Benning Road. Yeah, Benning Road is, yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat. If you haven't done so already, please like the stream. You said black people don't sleep on these people. Oh, most definitely they shouldn't. I don't think they will either, and they should. At this point, black people can't afford to be asleep. They gotta be wide awake. K-Boss said this is off subject. The pet bison is buying presser. Well, I don't think that she's officially his press secretary. I think that she's in the running for it. But I don't think she's officially in yet. It would be funny if she doesn't get it. The My Voice Channel said, when was the Mayo Mutant March? Last week, last Saturday. See, anybody who is from the DMV will tell you they would never go into Anacostia. Shoot, there's some people who are in the DMV who won't go into Anacostia the damn selves. So what makes you think people who are from out of town gonna go into that area? They can try it if they want to, but they probably won't make it out. And if they do, they'll barely make it. Cause I'll give you an example. I'll give y'all an example of what Southeast is like. Y'all remember that video that I did about Ward 8? Appreciate you, Stephanie. Remember that video I did about Ward 8 where they undercut the black residents and the black people there had went to the officials and they didn't do anything, so they literally marched in protest to that construction site. to basically demand that they give them jobs because that's what it said in the contract. Ward 8 is in Southeast. That is where you have Anacostia, Congress Heights, and maybe some people who was close, like living like near Southern Avenue. Like that's like on that cusp side. So that right there, that's the element they would have, that they would run into if they went over there, if they dared to go over there. See, if LVZ was on with me, we could have a whole discussion about Anacostia. But just to give you a taste, that is what happened in Ward 8 in that video that I had showed y'all last month. That is Southeast. And I'll give you another example. Remember, and this is outside of the DMV area. Remember what Dylan Roof said when he did what he did back in 2015? He had said he had planned on going into a predominantly black neighborhood. But he decided to not do it because he knew he would not make it out alive. Even he knew not to go into a predominantly black area to do what he did. But he went into a predominantly black church because he knew it would be safer to do so. But if he tried to pop off in a black area, appreciate you, Vincent. I'm familiar with Fort Washington. I know some people that live over there. But yeah, Dylan Roof knew what was up, and he knew he would have got his ass handed to him. He would have got dragged up and down that block before they kicked him out. Yeah, he said he wanted to shoot gangbangers, but he didn't shoot not one gangbanger. He took out innocent people in the church who was worshiping. A major coward on his behalf. Now, when he gets that lethal cocktail, that'll be the day. Whenever that day actually comes. But you know, I've spent too much time on this topic. Let me move on to the next one. The coonstress. Y'all knew I was going to talk about it. And I appreciate you, Sean, from the shop for the super chat. It didn't alert, and I think it's because it's a $5 threshold. But she said hashtag PPP for November. Best birthday gift ever. I try to do my best. And I don't know when your birthday fell. I don't know if it's already happened or if it's coming up. But happy belated or happy early birthday to you. So, the coonstress. So, you can see this picture right here with the coonstress. And on the left side of her is a Vogue album, a Vogue cover. And on that cover, it has a picture of Harry Styles, who is shot. What's going on, Jay Lethal? It has a picture of Harry Styles, and if you don't know who he is, he was a member of that group One Direction. And on the cover of the magazine, and even within the magazine, he was wearing a dress. And apparently that rubbed the coonstress the wrong way. Battle of Jenkins Ferry. I swear to God, we are sharing a brain with that statement you just wrote. Because some people did not catch it. But you caught it. I caught it. Some of y'all probably like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Trust me, I'm a lead into that. But just know, Battle of Jenkins Ferry, when you wrote that comment, me and you were thinking the same thing. But I'm going to work my way up to that. So basically, he had this magazine cover, and it had him on there, and he was wearing a dress. And throughout the pages of the book, he was wearing a dress, like, you know, and everything like that. Well, the coonstress felt some type of way about that. So she got onto her Twitter account, And then she just went off and was basically saying that we need to bring back manly men and stop endorsing and promoting effeminism with the feminization of men and everything like that. I said the coonstress thinks she's slick. I saw right through her little rant, her little minstrel rant, when she wrote that post. Now this is going to go back to what Barry said. He said that she's upset because it ruined the image of her ideal man. And we know the ideal man for her is a white man. So, to sum it up, the only reason that the coonstress was mad about this is because the person on the cover of this magazine who was wearing a dress is white. Point blank, period. That's the only reason. I said, how many times have we seen Billy Porter wear a dress? Like, he can't go almost anywhere without wearing a dress. He has to wear ballroom gowns and all types of stuff, and he does it just because he wants to wear this. Now, Harry Styles was doing it in a magazine, but I've never seen him walking down the street or walking a red carpet wearing a dress. He did it for this magazine. But she never says anything if a black man was wearing a dress. And I know this because I've never seen her get up in arms about it. But she knows that if she did, she's going to get a lot of flack from that academy, which I'm sure she did from this cover. See, she oversteps her bounds. She oversteps her boundaries. This woman doesn't know what the definition of boundaries is. And talking to Grubbin, you mentioned another one, Jaden Smith, because he's worn dresses. She never said anything about him. But the minute a white man puts on a dress for a magazine catalog, now she wants to talk about bring back the manly men. But when a black man is in a dress, whether it's for a magazine or because he wants to wear one, she doesn't say anything. What is that telling you? In her eyes, white men are the only true man. But that doesn't surprise me because look at who ass she loves to kiss. Look at who she's married to. But when she put that tweet out there, they got so deep in her ass. Now, mind you, I had her blocked. But I unblocked her because I wanted to see what it was looking like on there. And then of course she tried to I'm not gonna say she tried to clear it up because she really didn't. It was nothing she could do. But every time Candace Owens trends on Twitter, it's never for anything good. So whenever I wake up or I'm doing something right there at the moment and I look her name up or look it up and she's trending, I say, oh God, what did this heifer say right now? And usually it's something so stupid and asinine. Now, if she had kept her grievance about men wearing dresses even across the board, this would probably be a non-story. But because we see for what it is, we going in on her ass. But like someone said, this ruined the image of the white man for her. Because in her eyes, the white man is the true man. Which in her eyes also tells me that when black men wear a dress, that's what she prefers to see them as because she sees black men as bitches. That's what she sees them as. Many divestors think the same exact way. Because trust and believe, she's probably not the only one who felt this way. She was like, oh my, you probably had a whole bunch of divestors out there that was upset when they saw that cover. But it was a lot of white people, white women especially, that came out to defend that magazine cover and went in on her. But like I said, she knows she doesn't understand boundaries. She always oversteps it every single time because she thinks she's white. Even some white women don't do all the extracurricular shit that she does. But I wanted to show y'all something before I leave this story alone, and I thought it was very, very interesting. And that's this right here. This tweet that I'm gonna say that she allegedly posted. Now the tweet says 12:54 a.m. I'm not sure if that's from her phone. Well, it's probably not from her phone. I'm not sure. It probably is because the background says Twitter for iPhone, so it may be her phone. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's from her account. She says, yes, my husband did cheat on me with my brother. Yes, he said no when I asked to join them. Tweeted at 12:53 a.m. on November 16, 2020. Now, I unblocked her for the reason to see if I could go find that tweet. And surprise, surprise, when I went to her page, that tweet was not there. But somebody got a hold of it and put it out there. Because I was wondering why, when she was trending, why did people respond to her saying, well, that's why your husband cheated on you with your brother. I'm like, what are they talking about? And I kept seeing it over and over and over again. I saw it about 20 times. I said, okay, let me go and look this up. And this tweet popped up. And the crazy thing is, I wanted to see if she was going to go on her page and deny that this was her tweeting it. She didn't even deny that she tweeted this. So Candace, we got a question for you. What kind of activities are you and your husband and apparently your brother engaged in? Since you want to talk all this shit, what are you and your brother and your husband and apparently your brother engaged in? Now, if you notice, it says view tweet activity is nothing there. It's almost like she put it out there and then quickly deleted it. Now, I'm protecting myself when I say allegedly. But the fact that I went to her page, I didn't see this tweet, nor did I see her deny that this was happening, or her come out with the typical, oh, somebody hacked my account stuff, or somebody photoshopped it. She didn't even say none of that. And yes, this is actually her account. Her name on Twitter is @RealCandaceO. And that's her profile picture, and that's a verified check mark next to her name. Because I was wondering why people kept saying that. I'm like, what are they talking about with her husband cheating on her with her brother? What are they talking about? And then I found this tweet on Instagram. I was like, oh, this is what they were talking about. I didn't know that Candace Owens had a sibling. Nor did I care. Because it's who she is. So I didn't care. But this is interesting. If it is indeed true. Like I said, all I can say is that it's alleged. But it looks pretty damn real to me. But yeah, she got a lot of nerve. A whole lot of damn nerve. Let me move on from her and move on to the last topic. This topic of the Coonsters was going to be the last topic until I threw this last one up in here. And that's this topic right here. Of Devon Gregory. How many of y'all have heard about this story right here? How many of y'all, press a 1 in the chat if y'all heard of this story right here involving this 18-year-old by the name of Devon Gregory? Okay, so I'm saying no. Do tell. Ashley said he heard of it. Some of y'all said never heard of it. I'm seeing some ones. I'm seeing a lot of no's. Okay, so this story, and it doesn't surprise me that y'all haven't heard about it, because this story, like the Kawan Charles story, is being heavily buried. So basically, this happened in Florida. We're back in Florida, where you had this 18-year-old individual, boy, man, however you want to say it, named Devon Gregory, who was with his friends, and then all of a sudden they get approached by law enforcement for whatever reason, and right there on the spot, 4 terrorists unload a total of 35 bullets into his body. 35 between 4 cops. That sounds like to me that like they just unloaded their entire clip on him. This happened in Jacksonville. I'm gonna go ahead and read the article. It says newly released police body cam footage shows the police shooting of Devon Gregory, age 18, on San Juan Avenue on Tuesday night. By Action News Jax Records, is one of the soonest releases of body cam video from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to date. JSO issued a statement Thursday evening explaining the video's release within 48 hours. This case continues to be investigated. However, we are proactively releasing the body-worn camera footage of the police-involved shooting as a result of the medical examiner advising that the suspect suffered from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So they're basically trying to tell us that Devon Gregory killed himself before they unloaded all of those bullets into his body. That's a new one. I've heard some BS before, but I have never heard of the alleged suspect shooting themselves before they shoot at him. Like, if he's already dead, then why are you still why would you just start shooting at him? They said whether the self-inflicted gunshot wound Gregory suffered was fatal remains under investigation. The beginning of the video shows the traffic stop with Gregory and 2 of his family members inside the car. About 3 minutes into the video, police asked the driver to step out of the car after officers say they smell marijuana inside. Nearly 4.5 minutes into the video, Gregory is seen in the front seat of the car. He then appears to reach for something underneath him. "Don't reach under there. Hey, stop effing reaching," an officer is heard shouting. I'm grabbing my phone, Gregory says in a reply. In a news briefing after the shooting, police said a gun was recovered from the car. On Wednesday, police released a picture of the handgun and he said it was in Gregory's possession. JSO also said Gregory became agitated during the traffic stop and officers talked to him for several minutes before shots were fired. Intense exchanges can be heard in the footage. "Shoot me then, shoot me," Gregory said. "We do not want to shoot you," the officer said in reply. The video runs just over 19 minutes long. About 14 minutes of the video shows police trying to get Gregory to show his hands. Officers can be seen with their guns drawn. Slowly reached toward the ceiling and officers shouted. In those moments, Gregory can be heard saying he loves his family. "Tell my mama I love her too. Hey, tell my mama I love her," Gregory shouted to the relative who had been removed from the car. As officers pleaded with Gregory to comply, they tell him he will be able to see his family. "I get to see my loved ones, right?" asked Gregory. "Just come out with nothing in your hands," said an officer. He asked again, "I get to see my loved ones." "Yes," said an officer. "I do," asked Gregory. "Yes," said an officer. So now it's it's like an exchange of back and forth with the words. Then he says, "Tell me why I don't believe y'all." And then the officer says, "We don't want to hurt you." The video shows officers removing a second person from the car prior to shots being fired. In the final moments of the footage, Gregory is heard shouting for officers to leave him. Moments after, what sounds like a gunshot can be heard as Gregory's head and body begin to move backward. Officers then begin firing their guns. Shots ring out for about 4 seconds. 4 officers remain on leave, which is standard protocol. It should be noted, Action News Jax received video from one officer's body cam. It says this statement continues to be investigated. However, we are proactively releasing the body-worn camera footage of the police-involved shooting as a result of the medical examiner advising that the suspect suffered from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I would like to see him actually put the gun to his head and actually pull the trigger before I actually believe that he actually killed himself before they fired into that car. And my thing is this: let's hypothetically say that he had a gun and he put it to his head and he shot himself. Why in the hell would you go back over to the car and your immediate response is to just start firing into the car? Especially if you went back over to the car and saw that he was slumped over. But yeah, they said they shot him 35 times. For someone who was allegedly already dead. Like, for me, that just doesn't make sense. It would make sense to them, though. Robert Dalton says Benjamin Crump is on his way to the parents now. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. You said planted gun? I wouldn't be surprised about that either. Yeah, but something about this just doesn't make sense. If he was to kill himself from a self-inflicted gun wound, why would you go back over and shoot him if he's already dead? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Especially if they said they had an exchange with him for almost 20 minutes. Right, Alana, this story has a lot of plot holes. Like, this doesn't even sound remotely true to me. What we know to obviously be true is that this boy is dead and his body got riddled with bullets. We do know that. Like, why would someone kill themselves if they knew that they was going to be able to leave? That doesn't seem accurate to me at all. But watch, they're going to find a way to weasel the terrorists up out of this one. I can tell. See, if they can prove that he did a self-inflicted gunshot wound to himself, they're going to get off scot-free. But yeah, hopefully his family stays on top of this, and it sounds like to me that they are going to, because I do not for 1 second believe that this boy killed himself before they had the opportunity to kill him. So they can miss me with that. Exactly, Battle of Jenkins Ferry. That's what I said. If he shot himself, why would they then shoot him 35 times? Like, why would they go back and shoot him? If they saw him, like I said, they saw him slumped over that wheel or even laid off to the side, what you should have did was look to be sure that he was dead and then go from there. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, y'all, that was the last topic that I had today for my stream. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to those who donated through the super chat. Also, make sure y'all tune into the Sundown Series video that I'm bringing to y'all on Sunday. This is going to be a very interesting one. It's a special edition one. I'm not going to tell you what the topic is going to be. Y'all are most likely going to find out on Saturday when the little preview button, the little preview tab comes up whenever I do the premiere videos, is going to pop up. So make sure y'all tune into that. Also, I will be bringing a review tomorrow on my channel. I'm not going to tell y'all what it's for. Y'all going to see it anyway. But it's going to be it's a lengthy review. It's going to be over 30 minutes long. So be sure to tune into that. Make sure y'all also like the videos, share the videos, subscribe if you have not done so already. Be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Because as you can see, it's completely dark outside where I'm at. So, it's pretty much done at this point. And with that being said,